had the privilege and honor to represent PHCC, the Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Contractors of America's Academy, at this year's SkillsUSA National Conference and Championship Competition in Atlanta, Georgia. PHCC's Educational Foundation is where so many good things are happening, including many new online training solutions for plumbing, heating, and cooling apprentices through their PHCC Academy program, as well as helping put on the SkillsUSA Plumbing Apprentice Competition. This is where so many industry partners and leaders come together each year to support youngsters interested in our trades. Over 15,000 of them, all in one place for a week. I wish you could have been there. The energy was amazing, but I got the chance to talk to some of the industry leaders, instructors, and even some youngsters that competed in the competitions. Get to know more about the passion and energy that makes SkillsUSA such a successful program by learning more about my next guest. Karmen, we're at SkillsUSA at the PHCC Academy booth. I'm so glad to see you here.
Glad to see you, Dennis the Apprentice. It was
Yes.
a familiar face. I love it.
Yes, Karmen, you're the executive director for Washington Skills.
Yep. SkillsUSA Washington Middle School, High School, and College Post-Secondary.
My goodness. And we just met this year. I've been a fan of apprenticeships for my whole career, 23 years.
Yeah.
I just learned about SkillsUSA this year.
It's a shame. I think we've been the best kept secret for so long, especially in Washington. And when I called you and I heard Dennis the Apprentice, I said, I think I need to know this guy.
Yes.
And so here we are, less than a year later, and you've attended our state conference.
Yep.
You rallied, you cheered on our students champions at the state level, and now you're here in Atlanta with us watching them do it again.
Yes, absolutely. I'm trying to get these guys hooked up. We were talking about getting connected to industry.
Absolutely.
And the kid that won the plumbing state in Washington, I can't remember his name at the moment, but I already found him a job. I saw him here. I go, hey, I found a job for you. And he's like, I'm already working.
I love that.
And that's the opportunity of the trades.
Yep, absolutely. Well, and it's just so neat. I mean, I think that is the end goal for all of our students, right? Is what opportunity can we provide them? What can we do to ensure that they're taking that next step on their career path and not, falling out of the system? Right.
So maybe one thing I'd like to talk about is, my son Tyson wants to be an apprentice. He has never heard of SkillsUSA in his high school. So how do these high schools that aren't connected to SkillsUSA, how does that process work?
Yeah, so we would have to work on getting them chartered. What school does he attend?
Shorewood.
So what we would do is we would connect with his administration or administrators at the school and plug him into a CTE program, Career and Technical Education. We'd make sure that he's got the training. Obviously, that training can be done outside of the classroom as well. So let's say you provide him a job opportunity or you connect him with someone in industry. Tyson starts training with that industry representative. He can then start plugging in the progressive level of championships we have in Washington. He can compete at the regional level, advance to the state level, and then be here representing Shorewood.
Very cool.
At the national level.
Very cool. So does he need so for a high school to get involved, do they need like some kind of administrator in the high school that's in charge of the program, or what's that look like for the high school?
The high school level, they would just need to have a charter. So we would have to create a training program at Shorewood that would be plumbing, or in this case, it would be architecture and construction. Okay. And
what's cool is the plumbing is the technical side is produced by PHCC, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It was wonderful meeting you because it was just the odds, and then meeting Todd and so on. So yeah. I think plumbing was something that was unfortunately underserved in our state for our programming. Yeah. And then seeing it come to life so quickly this year, I can only imagine what we're going to do next year. So, going from one school to now 4 programs, and we're just, as we get this word out, I think Tyson's going to have at least some competition there.
Yeah, for sure. So how are there other trades that need help, or they like when we went, Todd and I went, it was like the electrical was really going strong.
And electrical just a year ago, my friend, was 2 years ago now. I mean, we had 4.
Really?
And now we're having to cap it.
Yeah.
And so I want all of our programs to just be overflowing, so that we have to cap them. And obviously capping, but not capping the opportunities, because at the regional level, if we get industry plugged in even from the start of their school year, that's just more opportunities and further, journeys they can and routes they can take with their career to pursue whatever industry and training program they want.
Right, right. So you're the executive director. So what do you do? What's an executive director for Skills USA do?
Yeah, I babysit. I'm just kidding. No, as an executive director, I help coordinate and plan and and execute the different championships. I also work with industry partners. One of my favorite things, and I think being an executive director looks very different depending on what state you're in. Here at Washington, I've kind of pivoted what being an executive director looks like, and I really think my job is to be an advocate and a champion for our students. And so who I am a champion for is the students, obviously, but I present that to industry partners. So who I work with on the daily would be industry partners. I connect with trade professionals and really just promote and advocate and just testify to just how amazing these students are. Advocating that, hey, are you struggling? Talk about workforce development. An average architecture and construction industry is spending over $30,000 to onboard a new hire in today's market.
Wow.
$30,000. And here we are doing the professional, the workplace, and the basic soft technical skills grounded in academics in high school. And then that employer can hire our student and get all of that for free.
Right.
And so why wouldn't they? We
Right.
have the unicorn of all applicants, right? So those well-rounded individuals that stand out, they come in not knowing everything, but sure as heck wanting to know. They have a humble attitude. They're professional. They'll show up on time. They've got the leadership. They know how to be a colleague. And then we're making that introduction. And so the way I look at my job is I'm an advocate and I'm a master connector. I
Right.
connect opportunity for students.
That's awesome. One thing I hear all the time from, plumbing contractors, because that's who I talk to most, is they have a hard time finding young people. And what I'm sharing as well is there's young people everywhere.
And they're our future workforce.
And they're actually excited. Like, we had a girl, Tyson and I were podcasting, and she just jumped on the podcast and started talking. She's just enthusiastic and helpful and interested.
Absolutely.
And all these kids have won a competition to even be here, right, at the national level. So we got some exciting kids here, and they can take that energy and spread it around, right?
They sure can. And the hard part about Washington, and I guess it's not hard, it's just, the piece we have to navigate.
Yeah.
You know this, Dennis, the apprentice. We're an SAA state. I joke that SAA or monopolistic.
What does that mean?
We don't play nice in the sandbox is the way I joke about it. But what it really is we do things differently in Washington. We aren't going to, obviously federal law we have to follow and regulations, but our approval process for an apprenticeship, statewide apprenticeship specifically, is a little bit harder. I mean, it's individualized to Washington. And so if I want to get an approved apprenticeship specifically speaking and tailoring to youth, it's going to take some time.
Right.
Currently in the process of launching the first ever statewide apprenticeship for youth in the state of Washington.
For what trade?
Diesel equipment technology.
Wow.
So I should sit before the committee in October.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we were walking around when this was getting set up, and we came across a big diesel engine.
Yeah.
It's big, glossy red.
Yeah.
And Tyson was so impressed. He didn't know what it was. It was a Cummins
Combine
diesel
or something.
engine.
Okay, yeah.
And his eyes just lit up, and I go, "That's a diesel engine right there."
That's
And
cool.
so, I think a lot of kids just they haven't been introduced to the trades either.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're getting their first, the thing that I always focus on too is these students, we're tailoring to their needs just as much as the workforces and our future workforce needs. These students, some of them don't thrive in the traditional pathway.
Right.
The classwork, the sitting, reading a textbook, it's not for them. And I am definitely, Dennis, not someone that would say, college is an enemy. No way. I think debt is, though. I think debt's the enemy. I think these students that can graduate their high school and step foot out of their classroom walls and right onto a job site and make $30, $40 an hour or even $25 an hour, or they can go into a college classroom, continue to work in a place that they aren't really learning well and it's not tailoring to their needs. They're a constant struggle. They're not enjoying it, and then graduate with $50,000 to $100,000 in debt to make that $23 an hour,
Right.
and never be able to pay it back, or spend years and years and years of their front side of their career just to pay back their debt.
Right.
And so if that the classic, right? Earn while you learn. I'm all for it.
Right.
Absolutely. I will tell both my daughters to go do that.
Right. Or even if you get into the trades, it might inform you on what you want to go to college for.
Absolutely.
Like maybe it's accounting or
and
whatever.
You practice the skill.
Right.
And the greatest part is all of our technical standards, Dennis, have the standards and competencies. And when you look at those standards and competencies, they're achieving mathematics. They're working on English credits in a electrical construction wiring classroom. Ohm's law, you're learning about, math, science. And
Yes.
it's just truly incredible to see. You're just helping students achieve in their way that they need to receive that education.
Yeah. When I was talking to my kid on the podcast, he was explaining to me in detail how we used the Pythagorean theorem
Yeah.
to figure out how to cut
Yep.
the wood so it would fit right. And he goes, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I forgot all about the Pythagorean theorem. I can't even hardly say it.
Pythagorean, yeah.
So they are using these skills in the trades, most definitely.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Well, thanks for being on.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
You're busy, and
Just a little.
yeah, and this is awesome. If you've not been to Skills USA, you need to get involved.
Yeah, find Dennis the Apprentice.
Awesome. Thanks, Karmen. So that was just another angle on the great work being done by Skills USA. If you want to get involved or want to give a youngster an opportunity in your area, look up Skills USA in your state and plug into what is going on. You won't be disappointed.